We can split this video into two conversations, but I wanted to title it in the way that I did because man, oh man. Buffalo Sabres fans, while it may be a bit unlikely that you'll go out there and make the playoffs this year, you're 5 points out of the race at the time of recording this audio, and you don't have any games in hand, there still is a lot of hope for the future. Because today the Buffalo Sabres played off against my third favorite team, the Detroit Red Wings, and I actually had the luxury of having this game on my Sportsnet broadcast here in Vancouver, BC. So I did have this game on in the background, I was paying attention, I was keeping some notes, but ultimately this was the kind of game where whatever notes you get, yeah, they're not really worth all too much because the Red Wings ended up losing 7-3. It was a very bad game, yet again, from the boys from Motown, and, you know, at this point, somebody's got to go out there and get rid of that garbage sponsor on their jersey. And no, that's not being rude. It's literally a sponsorship for a garbage company. So, the garbage sponsor, please! It's cursed this team for some reason. Either that or Dylan Larkin's injury really did impact the team in more ways than we could have imagined. But either way, as we had talked about in the video earlier today, talking about how the best and worst teams of the week featured many Canucks players on the best team and many Red Wings on the worst team, we have ourselves a very off-putting game from the Detroit POV as they lose 7-3. As I'd said, you know, it's easy to understand and talk about things in a game that's really tight, but in a game like this, against Buffalo, when it's 4-1 after the first period, there's really nothing else that you can learn. Alex Lyon has forgotten how to goaltend. They played him into the ground. A bunch of these other guys have just been so reduced in terms of their efficiency on the ice that it's kind of weird just seeing the fall out of playoff contention that the Wings have exhibited the past few weeks. It's been so tragic, and I don't think anybody could have expected this, just from one Dylan Larkin leaving the lineup. Now, cooler heads will prevail here. I think everybody kind of acknowledges, okay, I mean, the Red Wings, they're not there yet. I don't think anybody was fully expecting them to be there yet, but just making the playoffs would have been nice. At this point, though, you kind of have to refer to what Steve Yzerman said at the very beginning, that this would take years, 10-year process here for the Detroit Red Wings to get back into competitive playoff contention. But for now, we'll just see if they can weather the storm. A game like this against Buffalo definitely does not help in that respect, but there still are some things to look forward to. But when it comes to the Buffalo Sabres POV, I wanted to make this video because of one guy who went out there and pretty much started dominating the moment he arrived in Buffalo, New York. You know from the title, you know from the thumbnail, today we are talking about Bowen Byram. Because man, is this guy looking like an absolute super stud. And not even that he wasn't the stud back with the Colorado Avalanche, the team that he was drafted 4th overall by in the 2019 NHL Draft, but Bowen Byram, with his stint in Buffalo, is at over a point per game. He's got 4 points in 3 games played, and 3 of those points that he has accrued are all goals. Byram had 8 goals in 55 games with the Colorado Avalanche this season, and now, just in 3 Sabres games, he's got 3 goals himself. He's really gone out there and shown off what made him such a special prospect in 2019. And we had talked about all of this in the initial video discussing the Byram and Casey Mittelstadt trade in the first place. We said that because Colorado is so good, because you have Bowen Byram, Devon Toews, Josh Manson, Cale Makar, a lot of these guys, Samuel Girard in there too, because this decor is so stacked, you could debate that a player like Bowen Byram, who is only 22 years old, isn't really put in the best position to develop in the same way that Cale Makar was when he was a rookie. Makar was a number 1 defenseman right away because the Colorado Avalanche were pretty trash. So they needed to get some guys filling in roster spots, and Cale Makar happened to be that guy. He was good right out the gate and he dominated. Bowen Byram doesn't have that luxury. He is playing behind Cale Makar, and behind Samuel Girard, and behind these other left-handed defensemen. It was always going to be a tough hill to climb. So they traded Byram for Mittelstadt, they got their center, and then to free up the center spot for Mittelstadt, they traded away Johansson for Sean Walker. Everything works out, and the Colorado Avalanche are happy. Buffalo Sabres fans, on the other hand, are happy as well because, man oh man, has Bowen Byram been a breath of fresh air. You talk about the pace that the Colorado Avalanche play with. You talk about how they're so used to always going and going and going and skating and bringing forward that mentality on the ice that's embodied in the spirit of Nathan MacKinnon. They're always going. No stoppages of play here. Always forecheck, always on the rush, always moving around. This is the play style that Bowen Byram has been used to, and bringing that over to a Buffalo Sabres squad where they're so stagnant on the power play and their guys don't move around, you start to notice right away, okay, yeah, Bowen Byram is definitely coming over from a Stanley Cup championship caliber team. And he's played like it too, because the way that he's scoring these goals, I mean, he's getting long shots from out of the side, he's coming in on goal to pick up loose rebounds, he's just doing what an offensive mobile defenseman is capable of doing. And it's in a different way than we see Rasmus Dahlin go out there and do his thing. It's in a different way than we see Owen Power exhibit his overall play. Bo Byram has just energized this defense core, this team, this fan base. He's taking over as one of the hottest Sabres over the past few days, and ultimately, I'm super excited to see it. I'm not too surprised, considering that Bo Byram was always supposed to be a top-of-the-line #1 defender caliber prospect when he was drafted by Colorado. It's just because his development was so, I don't think slowed down is the right phrasing to use, but he wasn't utilized as much as a young defender who could be a #1 defender could have been in Colorado, because playing behind all those guys, I mean, it makes sense, right? It's just now that he's in Buffalo where, sure, you could say Dahlin is the #1 guy there, but there's still a good amount of rotation going along here. It's not like Bo Byram's ice time is completely depleted. He's still getting his chances and he's still scoring goals. And against a Detroit Red Wings team that has just been going down the drain, this is looking really, really bad for them. Man, the Detroit Red Wings are in a really tough spot because now they're completely falling out of the playoff picture. Sure, they're still technically in it, but with the way they've been playing the past few days, you can't say that they are pretty much guaranteed to be getting themselves in here. And this 2-goal game from Bo Byram definitely doesn't make things any better, especially going up against the Alex Lyon net-minded Detroit Red Wings. So before we end off this video, let's just go over all the other stuff that was happening in this game. First period, the goal was scored by Alex Tuch, 1-0 Buffalo, just 1 minute into the game. Then you had the Bowen Byram goal, the first one, the rebound out on the side that was at the 10-minute mark, 2-0 Buffalo. Ben Sherratt then scored to make it 2-1, but then followed up by Zach Benson and Jeff Skinner. The Sabres ended off the first with a 4-1 lead. The second period gets underway, and it's Connor Clifton. Yeah, you let Connor Clifton score on you, Detroit. I am sorry, but that kind of shot, I mean, it just went straight in. Like, it was on the rush, passed over to Clifton on the side there, and he just one-timed it. And then Bowen Byram got his second of the night at the halfway mark of the game to make it 6-1. Lucas Raymond then made it 6-2, but then JJ Peterka gave the Sabres their 7th goal of the game. Jake Wallman then scored near the end of the third to make it 7-3. And that was all she wrote, a 7-3 win for the Buffalo Sabres over the Detroit Red Wings that I was actually able to watch, and I'm feeling pretty unhappy because of it. Like, hey, for the first time in a while, I finally get to watch a Detroit Red Wings game on my TV here, and it ends up being that one. Man, somebody's got to get rid of those garbage patches on the sweater here. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're a Red Wings fan, what are your thoughts about the loss against the Buffalo Sabres? If you're a Sabres fan, what are your opinions about Bo Byram and the way he's played for your squad? Do you think he will be the next in line to take over in the Rasmus Dahlin position? Do you think Dahlin will always be the #1? Will it be a 1-2, a Curry-Thompson situation here? Or do you think Owen Power makes a comeback out of nowhere and all of a sudden becomes the best defender on the team? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.